Hi there, folks. Welcome to our Vegas Nation Stadium Show, where we provide inside analysis and all the up-to-date information on what's happening here with, yes, Allegiant Stadium, set to open in 2020. I'm Ed Graney, sports columnist for Las Vegas Review Journal, and as always, I'm pleased to be joined by my colleague, all things stadium, Rick Vallata. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great.
Let's get to it, because there was big news this week, money-wise and sponsorship-wise. And first of all, big news, the price tag of the stadium increased by $90 million this week. You're now saying it's a $2 billion stadium. I want to get your thoughts on this $90 million, because I think a lot of people on the outside looking in said, hold on, we're not giving any more money for this. That's not really the case. Before I ask you, let's go to Don Webb, the Chief Operating Officer of Allegiant Stadium. He addressed the Stadium Authority Board on this subject this week. Here's Don.
These activation costs are generally borne by the respective sponsor and may range from very little, almost nothing actually, to as much as $10 million per individual sponsor. We anticipate that the total cost of third-party sponsorships, the activation costs and similar expenses, will range from between $25 million and $70 million once all the dust settles. Such costs involve absolutely no funding to be provided by the Stadium Authority.
So, Rick, you heard what Don said. Tickets must be going well. I mean, $90 million, but this is the Raiders' money. Explain to the people what this money is about and how the Raiders feel now a need to take this money that they're making on one end to put it back into their structure.
Well, you hit the nail on the head that people were going to freak out about this, because there have been a lot of people who said, wait a minute, how can we be spending more money on this? You're not going to get more than $750 million from us. And that's true. They're not going to get more than $750 million. That's locked in. It always has been. It always will be. What the Raiders are saying is that their PSL sales have been so robust that they are able to put some additional features into the building. So they're adding things, and in their club space, in their luxury boxes, in a lot of different parts of the stadium. In addition to that, they've been signing left and right new stadium sponsorship deals, including the ones that you referenced, the Coke, and today there was even another new one. So it's one of those things that, because those things are going so well, they felt compelled to increase the budget by $90 million to take it up to what it is now, about $2 billion.
You mentioned sponsorships. They've been trickling. I mean, the Allegiant's the big one, obviously. It's now Allegiant Stadium. But you've mentioned other small sponsorships that's come along. Two ones that came along this week I would categorize as big. Coca-cola. Right. Everyone wants to know, Coke or Pepsi, what is the stadium going to serve? And then the food service item, the concessions that came down the pipe today. Tell us about both of those.
Well, the Coke was something that a local Las Vegas bottling company is a part of that. Certainly, Coke and Pepsi is always a war. You see their competing ads all the time. And I think that there's a lot of Pepsi vendors on the Strip, so it was a little bit surprising.
You were surprised
to me.
It was Coke.
Yeah, so seeing Coca-Cola as the primary beverage sponsor for the stadium. The other one is brand new, and we're taping this. But
as you should be writing your story. I have no idea why you're here.
I know,
you should be back at the newspaper writing.
Exactly. Levy is the name of the company. They are a food service provider. They're going to be doing all the food service within the building.
Are they locally based?
They are not. They are. Okay. They're not here, but they do have a venue or they do provide the service at T-Mobile Arena. Okay. So we're able to see that. But very high quality food. They're talking about dealing with top chefs. They're talking about some of the best vendors in the country, and they're doing not just the concession stands, but they're doing all the premium food outlets in the clubs, in the special luxury boxes, and in all the premium areas around the stadium. So they're looking for high quality on that end too, and Levy is the company that they've chosen to do that.
A lot of people will be interested in what? The alcohol side of things. Does this fall under Levy, or like Coke, are they now pursuing who they would do the alcohol? You know, at the Aviators at the ballpark, there's a lot of craft beers. There's a lot of different options. I don't know as much in NFL Stadium if that's true, or if you just have one main vendor, and this is the beer we're going to give you. Any update on that, and is that separate from the Levy food service?
I believe it will be separate, although they will have some mixed drinks, mixologists that they have among their people that they work with.
Okay.
But, you know, we'll probably find out within a few days about the beer concession and what's going to happen there. Obviously, that's a very big one, a very important one. And, you know, it's one of those things that they're always going to try to seek out the best. So
Sure.
it would not surprise me if there were craft beers that were involved in this.
You know, we don't talk often, and we should probably talk a little more about it because this is also a stadium UNLV is going to use, and you and I would go back years now with the 750, and we were at those meetings up in Carson City, and UNLV played a big part in this happening. There were a lot of people in the legislature said, I want UNLV involved here. That's why I will vote for this. But when it comes to, I think, what UNLV fans want to know, Coke, levy with the food, whatever the beer is going to be, these are kind of decisions made, and then UNLV will follow. Yes, they can't have their own. What I'm saying is, and people who know stadiums might know this. Maybe they don't know. People out there maybe don't know. UNLV can't go make a Pepsi deal. UNLV can't go make if the Raiders go with one alcohol, you're not going to see a different one on Saturday. Is this true? They're kind of going along here.
Yeah, it's one of the things that they kind of had to follow along with in terms of being able to use the stadium. They
Okay.
needed to agree that the stadium is being managed, operated by the Raiders. Therefore, they're going to be signing all the contracts, and those contracts might be, in opposition to what they're accustomed to right now. So I think this is something that is going to be an area that people will be getting used to, and they'll have to kind of consider that. But in the big picture, does it really matter that much? You just want to have the
I
best
think they want to be in
quality
the
that you
stadium
can.
and have the best quality.
Exactly.
Another story you're working on, which I think is fascinating because you said it to me the other day. So as you go along the freeway, you're going to see the side of the stadium is going to be like a video board where things are going to be playing, which on the 15 and some of the drivers in this state, God help us if they're like playing like a game or something or some crazy catch if some guy's looking over here. But that isn't, I couldn't believe the scope you were talking about in terms of the enormity of this board. And now the Raiders, correct me if I'm wrong, are having to get further permits to even allow this to happen. So bring us up to date on that, because I think that's a fascinating story.
Well, part of the whole establishment of building codes and that type of thing is the sign code. And signs, obviously, they're all over Las Vegas. You might not think that there's a sign code when you look at the strip, but there is.
Right.
There are certain size restrictions and certain numbers of restrictions in terms of the number of signs you can have. Well, in the case of the stadium, this is something that we don't have here. So obviously there's nothing written into the code that really addresses a lot of this stuff. So they go with some of the existing standards that they have in other buildings and other locations. And the stadium is not that. So what they have to do is go in and get waivers to these existing sign codes in order to build the types of things that they want, whether it's the size of the sign, which we were talking about, the whole side of the stadium is going to be a giant video wall, or the number of signs that there are.
Right.
And then we're talking about animated signs, things that could distract you.
Drivers.
And that's the thing that worries me a little bit, is the fact that this big video board is going to be on the side of the stadium when people are going by on Interstate 15. So I don't think that they're going to have any problem with this when they take it to the Clark County Commission, which is who will be deciding this thing.
Steve Sisolak no longer around.
That's right. But the fact is that they were going to go in this last Wednesday. I wrote about the story that they were planning to go in, but it was delayed. And that delay came from the Raiders themselves. And the reason why is because they did not realize that they had to get FAA permission for some of these animated signs as well. So they don't have that yet, and they are in the process of doing that. They should have it within 30 days. So we'll look for a meeting in October of the Clark County Commission to determine if all these waivers for these signs are going to be put into place.
I'm a little nervous. The way I drive, if they're playing the Cowboys, my team, and all of a sudden there's some great play and I'm on the road, I mean, I should be at the game, obviously, but if it's later that night and they're replaying the Cowboys' victory, it's not going to be good if I look over to my left and there's someone in front of me. That's actually a really legitimate fear. Distracted drivers, you're looking. What did you say the size of this thing was? How many square feet is this board?
I believe it's close to 200,000 square feet. It's
insane.
It's about 1/3 the size of a football field.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick. Awesome job as usual. Well, there you have it. We hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, for all your stadium and Raiders news, go to reviewjournal.com daily and check back here at Vegas Nation. Also, be sure to follow Vegas Nation on Facebook, also vegasnation.com. We're going to continue to bring you stadium shows as the project is built before our very eyes. For the Review Journal's Rick Vallata, All Things Stadium, I'm Ed Graney. Thanks for watching.